You have probably seen this before. You go to sign in on Google, Apple, or GitHub, and they allow you to log in without asking for a password. All what you need is your Face ID, or just a tap on your phone, or simply a fingerprint, and you are logged in. So what is powering that magic? It's called passkeys, and it's the future of secure logins. I will show you exactly how passkeys work and how to implement them in your own application using Spring Boot on our backend and Angular on our frontend. It is basically a cryptographic credential that is tied to your user account. Your device, whether it's your phone, laptop, or even a hardware key like YubiKey, it generates two keys, a private key and a public key. The private key stays locked on your device and it never leaves it, while the public key gets sent to the server when you register your device. Then, once you try to log in, your device, browser, and server work together behind the scenes to verify your identity, giving you a seamless, secure login experience. Alright, let's break this down. There are two main flows when it comes to passkeys: registration and authentication. Let's start with the first flow, the part where new devices get linked to your account. We have four players involved: the user, represented by you, or the person trying to register. The client can be the application or the browser you are using. The server, and that could be your local backend using Spring Security or something on the cloud like Auth0. And finally, the authenticator, and that's your actual device doing the authentication. And it could be your phone, laptop, or hardware key like YubiKey. So, when you try to register your device, here what happens. The client sends a request to the server saying, "Hey, this user wants to register a new device." The server generates a challenge, just a random bit of data, and sends it back to the client. The client now uses WebAuthn API and calls credential.create, passing in the challenge. At this point, the authenticator steps in, but it cannot respond by itself. First, it needs to make sure that's really you, so it asks for a Face ID, a fingerprint, or just a tap on your phone to make sure you are present. Let me repeat that. The authenticator will never proceed without confirming you are physically there. That's what makes it secure and immune to remote attacks. Once you verify yourself, the authenticator generates a key pair. It keeps the private key secure on the device, then it sends back the public key, the signed challenge, and the challenge ID. All of that get handed to the client, and the client forwarded to the server. Finally, the server checks does the signature matches the challenge and the public key. If the answer is yes, then your device is now registered, and the server stores the public key so it can recognize you next time you try to log in. Now that the device is registered, let's see what happens in the authentication flow. We still have the same four players: the user, client, server, and authenticator. Here how it goes. You open the app or website and click login. The client sends a request to the server saying this user wants to sign in. The server generates a new challenge just like during registration and sends it back to the client. The client calls credentials.get because this time we are not creating credentials, we are retrieving them. At this point, the authenticator jumps in again and prompts for a user verification. If you pass the check, the authenticator looks for a matching private key that is tied to the website domain. If it finds one, it signs the challenge with that key. Then it sends back the signed challenge and the challenge ID. As before, the client forwards it to the server. The server uses the challenge ID to find the matching public key and use it to verify the signature. But wait, there's no password during registration and none during login. So how does the server even know who we are? Here's the catch. You must be already logged in to register a new device. So the only time you will ever need your password is to register your first device. Alright, enough theory. In part 2, We will put this into action using Spring Boot and Spring Security. See you there.